Hello and welcome to the Should You Buy for the Sun Spider, the new PGI original mech that they announced at MechCon 2017. We're going to go over the mech, its hitboxes, its hard points, its different specs, and see whether or not you should buy this mech. But to start off, just got back from MechCon a day ago, so my voice may be a little bit hoarse as I recuperate from that, so sorry if I sound different than normal, but we have the Sun Spider, where last year they came out with the Roughneck, which was their own design of an inner sphere mech. This is a clan mech, and it is a clan Omni mech. So let's get into it. If you pre-order before the 31st, you'll get some early adopter rewards, and we'll see what those are just shortly here. It's the standard pricing for various packs, where we have this $20 standard pack and the $40 collector's pack, with the standard pack coming with 3 mechs, the Prime, the A, and the B, and the collector's pack coming with that Prime that has the special camo pattern and 30% C-Bill boost. I like to value the collector's packs that are of Omnis a little bit higher, because you can switch around Omnipods, so it makes those special variants a little more useful in that sense, because it's not stuck to its specific hard points, and you can run whatever is your favorite Sun Spider build on that mech for 30% additional C-Bills if you wish. Of course, we've got the mech bays, the active premium time, 30 days for the base, 60 days for the collectors, and then various cockpit items and cosmetics and stuff, which aren't applicable to gameplay. We have the hero, the manual, or however you pronounce that, for $15 additional, which again, like for the collectors, I like to value Omni heroes and Omni basically boosted mechs a little bit higher than battle mechs, because they're so flexible. And then we have the reinforcement add-ons with the C and the D, as I accidentally clicked on the picture there. We're going to be looking at whether or not the hero and the reinforcement are pay to win, pay to optimize, as we go through the hard points and possible builds for it. Then we have the ultimate pack, which is just everything all together for one lump sum, which is the exact same price as buying everything individually. Would be slightly nice if it was $5 or $10 off, and I'll say that every single time, because it would be. You're going to buy everything at once, get a little bit of a discount, which would be nice. But early adopter rewards, if you buy before December 31st, basically before the end of the year, you'll get all these various things, which is 3 new colors, so that's quite nice. They're brand new ones that you have not purchased before. You get some cockpit items, you get some cosmetics, you get a little bit of C-Bills, but it's nothing game-breaking or, gameplay related. So if you want to wait and see how they perform and see what quirks they get, then you can. But for the specs, we have a 70-ton mech with a 350 XL engine. It's an Omni, so that XL engine is fixed and you will not be able to change it, which gives it a max speed of 81 kilometers an hour, 87 something after tweak. And it's got Endo and Ferro, double heat sinks, no jump jets across the entirety of the mech. We have one variant in the reinforcement that has ECM, and nothing has mask. So let us quickly pop over to the spreadsheet warrior, and we'll see how it compares against the other Omni mechs in the game. And we have it right here with row 26 right here. And then you might be a little bit hard to see these stats if you're looking at them on their phone, but I'll make sure to talk through it here. For the Sun Spider, 70 tons with that 350 engine. The engine is going to weigh 22 tons, which is going to give it the 81.0 kph with 87.1 after speed tweak. The Endo weighs 3.5 tons, the Ferro is 11.3, and it does have 4 fixed heat sinks within that 350 engine, which gives it a total free pod space of 29.2, which gives it 42% pod space. So comparing this to other mechs within its weight bracket, sort of plus or minus 5 tons, the 29.2 is actually very equivalent to something like the Ebon Jaguar. The Ebon has 28.5, so just 1 ton difference approximately. You'd probably shave a little bit of armor from the Sun Spider on the legs, take that 0.2 to a 0.5. and you'd probably shave the same amount to take the Ebon Jaguar to a 29 tons, rounding it off. So yeah, it's about, say, half a ton different than the Ebon Jaguar, so you can kind of use the Ebon Jaguar to get an idea of what some of your builds are going to be like with the Sun Spider and do a little mock-up with it. Also, it's pretty similar to something like the Timberwolf, which is slightly heavier, has a slightly larger engine but the same speed, and it has 27.5, 28 tons of available space. So those are sort of good equivalencies to it. Noticeably, it is much lower than things like the NovaCat at the same weight, because the NovaCat has a lot less engine, where it's in the 64 to 69 bracket for its mobility, but that puts it up with the 38 tons of pod space, where this is stuck more down around 29.5, 30 tons of pod space. So that's gonna come into play with particularly ballistic builds that are going to require those pod space in the future. But that gives us a point. If you strip off arms and stuff like that, the base is going to be 29.5 tons with everything armored. If you strip an arm, you'll save about 1.15 tons, so you'll get to about 30.5. You strip two, you get to about 31.5. And if you strip both arms and a little bit of leg, you can get to maximum 32 if you rely solely on your torso hardpoints. But speaking of hardpoints, let's go through them now. And this is an Omni, so we have to look sort of through left to right here, look through all of the left arms to see how they compare to each other, because you can swap them around. First thing to note is that there are no unique center torsos, so any particular Sun Spider center torso can do every single Sun Spider build, so that's good for the heroes and the special. In case you want to get those, you can run any build that I'm talking about if you have the appropriate Omnipods. But let us go through. We're going to start with the three in the standard package, talk about their builds that they can do, how the reinforcements change those dynamics of the different styles of builds, and how the hero does that as well. And the one unique thing is that there's going to be a second hero, which is part of the holiday bonus stuff that everyone is getting for free, which is amazing. And because you're just getting the hero, you could theoretically just get that hero and you don't have to purchase the mech. You can just wait for it to come out in Seaballs and then buy Omnipods from there. And because the skill tree has it so you don't need to have multiple of the same mech, you can just level it up normally. So we'll go through the hero here and basically what it brings to the battlefield first. Its left arm has a single missile, left torso has an energy and a ballistic, right torso has a ballistic, and right arm has 2 missile. Now, out of all of these, the only one that is unique is the left torso with an energy and a ballistic. If we head back to the sheet here, we can see that all of those other ones, the ballistic in this one, there's the pair of missile in the other, there is equivalency with the other variants. But on the left torso here, a ballistic and an energy is a unique combination. So that's what that hero gives us. But we don't have to worry about any pay to win with that hero, because everybody who logs in and does their single match on December 27th here will get that hero for free. So there's no worries about pay to win if that particular Omnipod does something amazing. But let us go through here with the standard pack to start with. With the Prime, we have 2 missile in the left arm. The A has a single energy in the arm, and the B has energy and missile in that arm. In the left torsos, we've got 1 energy, 2 ballistic, or 1 energy. And the right torsos, 1 ballistic, 2 ballistic, 1 ballistic, so just ballistic right torsos. And right arm is 2 missile, 1 energy, or an energy and a missile. Now what you can do with those available Omnipods and the available tonnage I described earlier is we can do sort of some different build archetypes. Starting off, we have Brawl. If we take the Prime and it's 2 missile arms. And if you want to do it, you can just have the one right torso from the prime, so you can take set of 8. Maybe the set of 8 quirks would be good for this. You can do 4 Artemis 6s and an LB-10 with a decent load of ammo and heat sinks for that sort of splat brawl design. There is a Dacha build using basically the A variant with its 2 ballistic in each side torso. This is stripping down both arms to nothing for armor and stripping armor out of the legs. You can get 2 UAC 2s, 2 UAC 5s. That's about the vast majority you can fit in there. Not only because you're just lacking the weight, you only have about 32 tons if you do all that stripping, but also, as someone pointed out on Twitter as I was tweeting out some preliminary theory crafting on my way home from MechCon, we have fixed armor and structure ×2 each in each side torso. Along with an XL engine having 2 slots there, that's 6 slots of our side torso filled up, which is only 12 slots. So therefore, we only have half the space for those side torsos. Gauss rifle fills it perfectly, and anything smaller than that does fit. So we can't, well, we can fit 2 5s, I believe, because Ultra 5s on the clan side are 3, if I'm not mistaken. So we can fit 2 Ultra 5s on each side. We can fit 2 Ultra 2s, of course. We can fit a single Ultra 10. We can fit a Gauss rifle, but we can't do a 20 with the standard pack. You are unable to fit an Ultra 20 on this thing if you wanted to go down that route. So 2 2s, 2 5s with 4 tons of ammo for each gun. It's sort of like the most Dacha I could fit onto the thing. You could maybe do like 3 5s. That way your ammo is a bit more homogeneous and a little easier to manage that way. But you can't do anything more than that. You could do also 4 2s and maybe some backup with like the 1 energy in each arm if you wanted to not strip the arms for weight. But it lacks the ability to Dacha that much because of the relatively low weight. So you have to think about what an Ebon Jaguar could do, and that's kind of what this can do. Where a Night Jeer, which has the additional, say, 8 tons, 9 tons, it can do 4 UAC 5s and do it well. An Ebon wouldn't be able to do that because it wouldn't have any ammo. So that's where this mech falls into there. Light Dacha, it's okay. But if we move on to something like, say, sniping, you could put 1 Gauss rifle on each side, strip down the arms a little bit, and just do that. Just a pair of Gauss. Which, I mean, Gauss work. They're I think one of the stronger weapons in the game. And really, if I have a mech that's just a pair of Gauss and I've got good aim, I can do some good work. Its profile looks like that it would be able to hill peak quite well, because everything's fairly up at the top of the mech. So it could just be a good dual Gauss platform, something like, say, that the Jaeger mech kind of does, where you can do this sort of dual Gauss with the Ebon Jaguar Hero, because it's got the dual side torsos. It's going to feel similar to that. When you go into missiles, this thing's got 4 missile, 2 on each arm. Because clan missiles are so light, you can do some crazy missile builds on this if you want. There is like 4 Lerm 20s, a tag, and like 8.5 tons of ammo. There's 4 Artemis 15s in the tag and BAP, and 9.5 tons of ammo. Do like 4 ATM 9s with tag and 8.5 tons of ammo. It just gets stupid how many missiles this thing could throw because those clan launchers are so light. But in the weight class, there might be some mechs that are better at doing that, where, say, there's the Nova Cat with those missile arms that can do like 6 15s, which may be able to outperform this if you're looking for it for a missile roll. But it can do them, and I think ATMs may be a decent thing on this because it's got some mobility. It's mounts are really high on the mech, so that would help them get over some terrain, since the ATMs don't have a very high arc. So ATMs could be a decent build on this. And then otherwise, it's actually really hard to do an energy-based build because you just don't have the energy points. We have 1 energy in each arm, and then we have 1 energy in the left torso, and that's it. You won't have anything else. So maybe the best energy builds are going to be like, say, 2 Ultra 5s in the right torso and then some energy, or maybe a Gauss rifle in that torso and then heavy lasers. Not exactly sure how that would fit together, but that's basically the best energy builds you can do on this. Maybe just trip PPC and a ton of heat sinks. I don't know. But if we move on to the reinforcements, the C and the D, we start to refine these builds a bit, and the options open up. With the C, we add 2 missile, 1 in each side torso. Now the arms are exact same as the prime, so there's no difference there, but this is missiles in the side torso, which we did not have before. So that allows you to do stuff like, say, 6 Artemis 6s with like 8 tons of ammo and a bunch of double heat sinks. You can keep them firing. Like a big old splat dog that's 10 tons heavier. 10 tons? Yeah, Mad Dog's 60. And that could be pretty good. Or you can do stuff with, say, 1 of the side torsos and 1 of the ballistic side torsos from the standard packs. And you could do, say, like 5 CERM 4s, 5 with Artemis, 5 CERM 6s without Artemis, and LB10. Also, the other part is that in the D, we get not only the ECM, which I'll talk to in a second, but we get ballistics in the arms. And with the arms, there's no lower arm actuator, but there is a single fixed slot, but there's enough room that, as you can see with the D, we can put an Ultra 20 in the arm if we wanted to, so we can get that larger ballistic. If you want to do Ultra 20 or LB20, you have to get the reinforcements for this particular mech. But that allows us to do stuff like, say, 4 CERM 6 and an LB20, 4 Artemis 4s and an LB20. So we have the sort of variation to the Brawl build, where in the standard pack you could do the Brawl with 4 Artemis 6s and a 10. This would be 4 regular 6s and a 20. So there's less clustering for your missiles, but a larger LB. Now, is that LB going to make that difference? Is the clustering of the missiles important? Because the clustering for clan SRMs is pretty bad. You kind of pretty much always need Artemis, I feel, when you're doing SRMs. So you have to make that decision. Otherwise, it also just adds the ability with the A side torsos and the D arms to have 6 ballistics. But this mech just can't do it. Like, we're already troubling to put 4 Ultras on this thing with 2 2s and 2 5s, and I can barely make that fit. There's no way you're putting 6 Ultra 2s on this thing. That is something that is going to be relegated to things like the Niger. This just doesn't have the weight. So while say the ECM, or having 1 of the ballistics be an arm, so you have access to that larger thing, having just more ballistics is just not that useful for this mech, because it just doesn't have the weight to make them properly utilize them. But moving on, we can also upgrade our missile builds because we have these side things, missile here in the side torsos. We can do things like 6 LRM-15s with 8.5 tons of ammo. You can do 6 LRM-10s with 8.5 tons of ammo, and possibly BAP if you want to squeeze it on. So you can go more into the LRM, but it's just sort of like the same flavor of LRM, I feel. Like, one side is going to be, oh no, we have like 120 LRMs, and one's like, we have 100 LRMs. Like, who cares? Like, when you're doing those numbers, it's going to be its effectiveness. There's sort of equal effectiveness in both sort of Brawl and LRM support and Dacha between both the standard packs and the reinforcement packs. So it really isn't that much of a pay to win, just a little bit of pay to optimize. And the only one that's sort of like super paid optimized in sort of my mind is the snipe. Instead of doing one Gauss in each side torso, you can now put a Gauss in one of the arms and have an ECM. So you could do on the D a Gauss in the right torso, a Gauss in the right arm, strip the left arm for weight, take an ECM, and you can do the 2 Gauss ECM, say like 5.5 tons of ammo. Of course, you'd probably have to take your ammo increasing skills to increase that by 20% to get it up to, what would that be, like 6.6 or 6 something tons equivalency. So yeah, you'd have to do that in order to make that work, but it's a little bit of a refinement that you wouldn't have if you didn't have the reinforcements. Then, for the hero, what does it add? Well, it adds the starting of lasers, because the hero has 2 energy in each arm, which is its unique point. The 1 energy in the side torso is in the standard pack. So, with the ability to go from 3 energy to 5 energy now, with the 2 in each arm, 1 in the side torso, we could also take, say, a ballistics in the left torso, so you can do that sort of, say, 2 UAC-5s and some energy weapons, however you want to do that. A Gauss rifle, some heavy lasers, but with more heavy lasers. So you can do like 2 heavy large, 3 ER meds, and a Gauss rifle. That fits. So it's the start of the energy ballistic combos that getting the hero allows you to be able to do. Also things, say, like an Ultra 10 and 5 medium pulse, which would be sort of a mid-range, pretty good DPS build. Overall, I don't think it's pay to win, because like I said, you can do good builds that will have effect on the battlefield with the standard pack, and the reinforcement of the hero just sort of give them a little bit of flavor, where the only one that is like, this actually could be more useful, is the ECM at long range on the dual Gauss, because that allows you to be a bit more sneaky out at that range. But I think they did a good job of putting that ECM in a torso without any other hard points, so that it doesn't become the de facto torso. If that ECM had something with it, if it had a ballistic or if it had an energy in that torso, then I would just say, like, yeah, I always take it, because you can actually do something with it. It's not like the Hellbringer side torso that's got the 3 energy. That's like, if you're not taking that Hellbringer side torso, what are you doing? You're doing it incorrect, because you can get a whole bunch of weaponry and have ECM. With this, you're going to have to trade off some important things, such as very limited energy points or a pair of ballistics, in order to get that ECM. So I feel it's a little bit of refinement, but it's not that bad. You can do some great stuff with just the standard pack. But let us finish off this video by popping back up, looking at the mech, its concept art, and its possible hitbox locations and hardpoint locations. As I was describing earlier, it is very high up, so we can see we've got the cutoff here of where its lowest hardpoint is, and the entire, like, 2/3, 3/4 of the mech in terms of height is below that, which is quite nice. So if those side torsos are just below the cockpit, and also these arms here, depending on how much there's dynamic there, if I take out those missiles, how much do they get smaller? This thing might be amazing at like a dual Gauss snipe sort of position, because it could just sit back and the other Gauss, like say that was the Gauss rifle there, the other Gauss rifle will be right here. It could just peek up. It wouldn't have that much of a torso pointing over. You just barely creep over to see your enemy. Just put a pair of Gauss downrange and then slink back into cover. The arms are above cockpit level. Everything else is just a tiny bit below. So things are looking great. And then beyond that, the aesthetics of this mech, like a lot of people have been saying this, it kind of looks like a big grown-up locust or something along those lines, which I can see, definitely. And I think it's an interesting looking design. Very important where these arms end, where these side torsos begin, where the center is. This here obviously has to be side torso because there's no hard points in the center. But is this bulge side torso, or is this center torso? You know, those are questions that will have to be answered before this mech's durability can be discerned. But I think it looks fine, and I believe that this will be a fairly decent mech to play, and I'm looking forward to playing it. Beyond that, you get a free hero of this mech no matter what, so you can try that out. If you want to wait for what quirks it's going to get, you don't have to get the early adopter if you don't want to, because it's all cosmetic and a little bit of bonus stuff. And for now, thanks for watching, and good hunting.